Frank talks about wanting the fans to help make the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a fortress. Spurs could make a move for Manchester United outcast in the January transfer window. Could Heung-min return to Spurs on loan? An injury boost to Thomas Frank, and a report on the health of Spurs legend Paul Gascoigne. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below, and if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, let's get into it. The Independent reports that Thomas Frank wants to make the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a fortress, but knows it will take unbelievable cohesion with the fans to achieve. Spurs host Aston Villa on Sunday, eager to arrest their woeful home form in the Premier League, with only 3 top-flight wins in 2025. Frank stated, haven't they thought a lot about the acoustics in the stadium, so it should sound very loud when the fans are behind the team. I guess that's part of it. Asked if the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was too nice to become a fortress, Frank said it shouldn't be. I think if we have that cohesion and energy between the fans and team, I think there will be unbelievable sound and noise and energy in that stadium that hopefully can push us forward. We would like our home to be a fortress. That is the ultimate aim. Can we make our home an unbelievably difficult place to come to? Then you know the job is half done in terms of what you like to try and achieve. And that is like an unbelievable cohesion between the team and the fans that needs to go hand in hand. It cannot only be the team, it cannot only be the fans, it needs to be both, and we need to bring energy to each other. That is absolutely key, and we need to do everything we can to work unbelievably hard, perform well, try to be positive, all that, but also need a little bit of help because football in every game goes a little bit up and down, so we need the fans, especially in the tough moments. The better they can get behind the team is the better, and it's not easy. The better it will be and have more time for success for the team. So we need that. But when our fans are behind the team and in the stadium is rocking, I think it's one of the best places in the world. Give Me Sport report that Tottenham Hotspur are eyeing a January move to sign Manchester United star Kobbie Mainoo. Having made it clear to Manchester United that he wished to leave over the summer, Mainoo remains at Old Trafford after a loan move was blocked. He's yet to start a Premier League game, though, with less than 150 minutes to his name over 2 months into the season. Mainoo did start in the Carabao Cup second round clash, but was left embarrassed along with his teammates as United were dumped out by Grimsby Town on penalties. It has left one of England's 2024 stars in limbo ahead of next summer's World Cup. Mainoo has not played for his country since September last year, and has not been included in a squad under Thomas Tuchel in over 12 months. With Bruno Fernandes ahead of him in the pecking order under Ruben Amorim, Mainoo faces a battle to get regular game time. Amorim has made it clear that he views Mainoo as a competitor for Fernandes' spot in midfield, leaving him stuck behind the club captain and without a way of getting in ahead of the struggling duo Casemiro and Ugarte. Thomas Frank sought reinforcement at the end of the summer window and turned to João Paulinho on loan. Despite his goals this season, they have already been questions around his ability to progress the ball forward and how it hinders the Lily Whites in possession. Sports Moles say that LAFC attacker Son Heung-min could reportedly return to the Premier League on loan during the MLS off-season due to a clause in his contract. The 33-year-old moved to MLS for a fee of around £20 million this summer after spending a glittering decade-long career with Tottenham Hotspur, ignoring lucrative offers from Saudi Arabian clubs. The Spurs legend has settled nicely into his new club and has made a strong start to his MLS career, managing 8 goals and 3 assists in just 9 appearances. Son penned a deal at LA until until 2028 with an option to extend for one more year, but he could potentially move back to the Premier League if he wants to. According to a report from The Sun, the South Korean has a clause in his contract that allows him to play for a European club during the MLS off-season. Son would not be the first MLS star to take advantage of this clause if he takes it at all, as former Manchester United and Real Madrid winger David Beckham spent a spell on loan at AC Milan during his time with LA Galaxy. It will be interesting to see what approach Son takes to use his off-season, especially with the 2026 World Cup in mind, where he may need a long rest to give him his best effort. On the other hand, playing in the Premier League would keep him fit and sharp and could help him continue the form he is in at the moment. Thomas Frank has a wealth of options in the attacking department, but he should he welcome Son back if there is an opportunity to sign him on a temporary deal. And Thomas Frank has confirmed a Tottenham injury boost ahead of Sunday's Premier League clash with Aston Villa. Spurs return from the international break in third place, enjoying a very solid start to the season under new boss Thomas Frank. Frank stated at Friday's press conference that Kolo Muani has trained now for 2 weeks with the team, so that's good. Frank said he looks better and better. He will be in contention for tomorrow, so that's positive. I think it's very important to have him fit and available. I think he looks better and better. I think it's also fair to say that he has trained 2 weeks with the team, and when he came back on the 1st of September, time flies. He still needs a bit to go up in level, but it's not to say that he can't be involved tomorrow and maybe can play minutes, but I think it's fair to say he needs a little bit of time to get up to full level. Elsewhere, Dominic Solanke remains out after having surgery, and Frank added Dom's progressed well after the surgery. He's been on the pitch, he's progressing, and it's going forward, so that's good. Biss unfortunately had a situation with the national team. I think everybody saw that, so he's got a ligament injury to his ankle, and that will keep him out for weeks. After when Solanke can return, Frank continued, I think the good thing is he's positive, he's progressing well, he's still training on his own, so I don't want to be too excited or too negative either. I'm actually taking a little bit day by day, week by week, and see how quickly he progresses. Give Me Sports state that Paul Gascoigne, amid concerns about the Tottenham Hotspur and England legend's health, has provided a heartbreaking update about his personal situation, as he admits that he can't stop drinking after a lifetime of fighting his addiction, and says that he'll die as Gazza. Initial concerns were raised by viewers over Gascoigne, now 58 years of age, appeared on Good Morning Britain to promote the retired midfielder's new autobiography, which is called 8 and reflects on both ups and downs of a career of great promise. Speaking to hosts Susan Reid and Richard Madeley, Gascoigne, widely regarded as one of the biggest legends in British football history, said, I can go months and months without bothering and then have a 2-day blip and then feel the consequences. And then I don't like myself for a few days. I just get miserable. And then I go to an AA meeting and just listen because you just wonder what it is. It wasn't until I first went to an AA meetings that I realised I was an alcoholic. In an exclusive interview with The Mirror, Gascoigne, who also turned out for the likes of Serie A side Lazio and Rangers of the Scottish Premiership between 85 and 2004, admitting to not being able to kick the drink habit and that he cannot change. I will probably die as Gazza, but I have nothing to hide. The whole country knows that. I have done now. I drank because I wanted to drink. I regretted the consequences afterwards. Despite multiple stints in rehab in an attempt to ease his addiction, Gateshead bull Gascoigne admitted that a relapse nowadays does not result in weeks and weeks of endless drinking like it used to. Now, if I have a relapse, I do not go for weeks on end like I did before, he said, before admitting the effect it must have had on his parents. Looking back, I must have hurt my mum and dad, but you do not think about it. The person you hurt most is yourself. Gascoigne in his interview also pointed to the likes of Jimmy Greaves and George Best, two of British football's icons, and also struggled with their respective battles with alcohol. The Newcastle United Academy graduate, however, admitted that his entire recovery is unique to him and only him. Jimmy Greaves stopped drinking, but that's Jimmy Greaves. I'm not Jimmy Greaves and I'm not George Best, the former attacking midfielder said. I don't get drunk because I hate my mum or my dad or I hate the public. It is not about that. I do it for the sake of doing it. I might regret it, but I don't think about yesterday. I don't think about tomorrow. I just think about today and live for today. Gascoigne last played football in 2004 for Boston United, but enjoyed a career full of moments. A 57 England cap international, scorer of 10 goals for the Three Lions, including that iconic strike against Scotland at Euro 96. At club level, the Icon's most notable stint came between 1988 and 1992 in North London with Tottenham Hotspur, but he left Spurs to join Lazio as England's top flight turned into the Premier League. After winning nothing of note in Italy, he returned to British shores in 1995 to join Rangers before stints at Middlesbrough, Everton and Burnley followed. Okay, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Frank wanting the stadium to be a fortress, don't we all? I think we all remember with fond memories the final season at White Hart Lane, and that was a fortress. You know, we didn't lose a game that season in the league and only drew 2, won the rest, of course. And God, wouldn't that be fantastic if we can somehow get the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to be a fortress like White Hart Lane was. Unfortunately, I think the fan demographic has changed since those days. Obviously a bigger stadium, you do get the tourist fans, and perhaps they're not more as likely to sing as, you know, regular match day going fans. I don't know, but hopefully somehow we can get that atmosphere back. Look, it is possible. I was at the semi-final against Bodo Glimt. What a fantastic and cracking atmosphere that was. Obviously helped by an early goal, but that obviously helped drive the team on to get that early goal. So I know there's a hell of a lot of work goes on behind the scenes with the tifos and the flags and everything, so that's just going to help make our stadium a fortress. But yes, I think it personally goes hand in glove with the football you're being served up. The fans get on the back of that, but also the players get on the back of the fans' ride of emotion and singing at the stadium. So it is a mix of both parties, the players, the football you're being served up, and the fans. But get down in the comments, let me know. Do you think the atmosphere has changed at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium since we moved from White Hart Lane? And will it ever get back to those brilliant atmospheres at the old lane? Kobbie Mainoo coming to Spurs. I know a few people don't really rate Kobbie Mainoo, but look, he was a regular in the Manchester United team for a good while, and he was a stalwart in the England camps. He did play well for England. So I personally wouldn't be against this move, actually. He's a young player, still loads to learn. I think if Kobbie Mainoo is available at a decent price, I wouldn't be against this. I still think there's a good player in there, and I think Thomas Frank could get the best out of Kobbie Mainoo. Obviously, you'd be prizing him away from his boyhood club, which is never easy, but he's not getting game time, and he wants to turn Thomas Tuchel's head for the World Cup coming up, as a lot of players will, you would think. So if Kobbie Mainoo's there and the price is right, I wouldn't be against it. This story about Son coming back to Spurs, I can't see it, if I'm brutally honest, but who knows? Who knows? You know, like I said, been said before, David Beckham went back when he was at LA Galaxy a couple of times, didn't he? He actually trained with Tottenham, didn't he? Didn't he have 77? Did we give him the squad number 77? Never actually played for Tottenham, but it'd be funny to see Sonny back at Spurs and train him. I'm sure Spurs would let him train with them even if he's not going to play. But yeah, that would be really interesting to see Sonny back at Spurs, because we haven't really replaced him since he left. I know he only left a couple of months ago, but we still haven't. Nobody's come forward and taken that spot, and we haven't signed anybody essentially for that spot. So that would be interesting. I just hope it wouldn't tarnish his legacy. I'm sure it wouldn't. But get down in the comments. Would you like to see Son back on loan for a few months at Spurs? Can it hurt? I don't think so, but I can't see it happening anyway. Injury news update. Randall Colomwani looks like he's going to be back in contention. Not sure he's going to start, but he should hopefully be in contention to face Villa over the weekend, which should be good. Pushing Richarlison. Looks like Dominic Solanke isn't quite as ready yet. Probably a couple of weeks there, I would imagine. I don't know. But having another striking option to Thomas Frank can only be good. So let's see what Colomwani can do if he gets some minutes against Villa. And finally, this is kind of heartbreaking news, really, about Gazza, one of my favourite players, in my top 5 players for Spurs ever, if I'm honest. Look, we all know, and it's widely reported, and Gazza's been very honest. I've been to legend evenings with Paul Gascoigne, and he's drinking. He doesn't try and hide it anymore. It's out there. We all know what it's like. He is a national icon, a national legend. He does need to be helped and protected. It looks like he does get that help when he needs it. I don't think he's ever going to kick the drink, sadly. But at least he knows he goes into rehab, and it sounds like it's not for weeks and weeks on end. It's just a couple of days blip. But I think that's all we can hope for with Gazza. And I just hope Paul Gascoigne stays fit and healthy, because he's one of life's good guys. And I do wish, obviously, he'd stayed at Spurs longer than he did. Saw him do some fantastic things for England. Euro 96, of course. Absolutely love watching him playing. There should have been in 1998 squad. Hoddle didn't take him, of course. I think that's travesty. And World Cup 90, big memories for me as a kid. But yeah, always love Gazza. But get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on Gazza and your memories of him, because just a sensational player for Tottenham and England, of course. But that's all from me today. Get down in the comments, as I say, let me know your thoughts on all these stories today. And as I say, always at the end of these, come on you Spurs.